got to be in some serious danger and scared for your life to make that crossing.
But isn't the real problem in the system when it comes to asylum is that there is no legitimate way to come to the UK and claim asylum? So you can't be in France and claim that. You have to be here.
Yep.
And in order to get here, you have to come on on a visa if you're in international. Yep. And if you get refused your visa for work or study or whatever, you can't come. Therefore, you can't claim asylum.
Yep. So
do we not have to look at the legal framework about asylum more?
We do, and there used to be safe routes for claiming asylum, but they were taken away by the Tories.
What were the same route? Safe routes?
So you used to just be able to turn up at the border. So if you got on a plane...
But hang on, but in England, the only way to turn up at the border is by way of a boat.
Now, previously, you used to be able to get on a plane, turn up and say, I want to claim asylum.
But how would you get here? Because you couldn't travel unless you got a visa of some sort, a visitor visa, a tourist.
You used, depending on what country you came from,
you
used to just be able to get a visitor visa and come over and claim, right?
Or what do you mean you used to be able to just get one?
So, visitor visas are slightly complicated, okay? So, if we go back just a fraction, illegal migration, which is what the news wants you to look at as a whole, is those who come here with legitimate means but have done so fraudulently or have broken the immigration rules. Asylum doesn't sit in that, and they're called irregular arrivals. So completely different framework. So if you take away the illegal side of it, because they're not technically illegal, they've just arrived irregularly, then you are allowed to claim asylum, basically, right? So that technically is entering the country illegally because you don't have entry clearance, which is where it gets confusing, okay?
Because the only way to do that surely is by way of a boat.
At the moment, yes.
But under the previous governments,
so it was the Tories that brought that in.
Yeah.
In 2022 with the Illegal Migration Act and the Nationality Security
What did they
Bill.
bring in particular?
So they took away the ability to basically apply for a visa and then come because they would deem you as illegally entering the country. So, you know, the ideal solution here, Paul, would be to have processing centres outside of the country that you could go to safely and claim, right? So we know, for example, Gaza at the moment is somewhere that people are, likely to claim asylum from because of the state of the country. If the UK government saw that as a risk, we could, in theory, set up somewhere in Jordan, just across the border, that they could go and claim asylum and be processed in Jordan. And they're looking at something similar at the moment in Romania, I think it is, where they're looking to basically, Romania will hold them at our expense in sort of camps and detention centres there, where they can claim asylum and be processed in Romania. If they're refused, they're then sent back from Romania rather than being in this country.
And do you think that's something that the British taxpayer will be happy to pay for?
I don't think they'll be happy to, but I think we have an obligation to. Ultimately, we are the nation that set up the Refugee Convention. We are the nation that set up the European Convention of Human Rights following the atrocities of World War II. We were the founding nation alongside the Allied nations.
But a lot of the electorate at the moment, there's talk that there's going to be a massive shift in government and immigration is the big driving force. So if the public aren't happy with that setup, any government that proposes it or incoming government or a political party surely just aren't going to get into power.
But so those